a show by small business owners for small business owners. The Eagle Business team will bring you experts, case studies and real information to keep you up to date and inspired. Broadcast live from 11 a.m. every Wednesday. This is Eagle Business on Eagle Waves Radio.
Good morning. And whoa, I just screamed at myself just then. Good morning and welcome to Eagle Business. You are listening to eaglewavesradio.com.au and we're broadcasting live from the corner of King and George Street at Vivo Cafe. Now, if you are in the city, hanging around Martin Place or, as I would say, loitering, come on down if you feel like a coffee and you can watch, listen live, participate and or throw us questions or knock on the glass and poke your tongue out, whatever makes you happy. You can tweet us at Eagle Waves, hashtag Radio EW, capital R, capital E, capital W. I'm not sure if that actually makes a difference, but I will look into that. Or you can go to our Facebook page at Eagle Waves Radio as well. Now, we've got lots of exciting stuff on our website, and I just want to point out to you, if you'd like to be a guest on Eagle Waves or you know someone who wants to be a guest on Eagle Waves, go to our Be a Guest form on our eaglewavesradio.com.au website. Click on the Be a Guest form, fill it out and press submit. And the faster you do that, the faster you'll get on. Of course, my co-host today, good morning, Leslie and Ben.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Great.
They have been known to be open to bribery to get a guest on? Is there a number?
Anything.
Yeah.
Anything goes. But I think we should point out that currently,
yes,
if you'd like to come on as a guest, you do need to be located in Sydney and able to come into the Sydney studio.
Able to come into the Sydney studio. We don't care where you live. You just have to come to Sydney.
That's right, because we have received a lot of requests from guests.
Actually, I might correct you on that, Leslie.
Ooh.
Yes.
Technology thrives?
Yes, technology does thrive. In fact, I have very high expectations after this show that we will be doing a Skype call.
Wow.
And as of next week, you won't have to be in Sydney anymore.
Oh, okay. So that opens it up, because we've had some fantastic guests apply, and in the past we've been limited, but now it's an open field.
It's an open field, and not just that, but the Prime Minister, Tony Abbott, can now return a phone call. There's really now no excuse, is there?
None at all.
None
he
at
should
all.
be on here in
It doesn't matter where he is, we can speak to him.
That's right, except from the loo. I've now decided that's my benchmark. No talking from the dunny.
Well, maybe we should get the new Small Business Minister, Bruce Bilson.
I have put in a call for Bruce as well and asked for a face-to-face.
Excellent.
Because I want to know what they're doing.
Yes.
Not just the stuff that they said wasn't getting done. I want to know what they're going to do. I'm tired of people not executing.
Well, it's like you said earlier, let's see some action.
Yeah, I like action.
A little less conversation.
That's exactly right. I'm done with that. You know what I want to do? I want to get straight into the first guest. I'm going to just throw my host for a loop and the producer. Everyone's going, oh, I just want to get stuck into it today. What do you think?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Well, Ben, would you like to make an introduction?
No, I wouldn't actually.
No.
I would like to pass that on over to Leslie.
You know what? I am the boss of this show temporarily, and I get fired from every other show on Eagle Waves.
You gave us some rope 2 weeks ago. We were on our own. Now we have wings.
I did think about that today too. Go ahead,
now
Leslie.
we have a system. Okay, so let me introduce our first guest, who's Christopher Whitelaw, and he's founder and principal of the Commercial Disputes Management Center. He's a barrister, an arbitrator, and a mediator with over 30 years of experience managing and resolving commercial disputes. Now, Chris says he is fully committed to helping his clients quickly identify and pursue the best and most efficient pathway to resolve their dispute and return to, you'll all like this, life as normal and business as usual. And he's here today to tell us just how to do that, how to resolve disputes without litigation and without damaging important relationships. So if any of you are currently in that situation, you're going to want to listen very quickly and very carefully to what Chris has to say.
Good morning, Chris.
Welcome, Chris.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Hang on, we have a on problems. You know that's it's the action thing.
Good morning, I'm here.
Yes, you
okay,
are.
so
you
we
are
resolved
well
that dispute. So just to start us off, can you tell us, first of all, about the Commercial Dispute Management Center?
Yeah, I'd love to. I specifically set up the Commercial Disputes Management Center in about 2010 because of the experience I was having in almost every facet of commercial disputes with small business people. Many of my clients have been small business owners, being stuck in the litigation system. And what I used to see time and time again in my work as a barrister and in other ways that I worked in the system is persons entrenched in the litigation system who now fully understood what it was about for the first time and didn't want to be there. And for small business people with limited cash flows, and often in the early stage of business, litigation can be hugely damaging, if not fatal, to their business.
It's a nightmare, I would think, for them. Yeah.
Tell us what it's like to be in that situation. How bad does it get?
Well, the hairs are standing up on the back of my neck.
I can set the scene this way. Solicitors often bring the client to a barrister when they want to deliver the bad news. And so solicitors at the front end often say the things the client wants to hear, and when they're hot under the collar, maybe they can get into that adversarial mood. But down the track, 3 months down the track, $50,000 out of their pocket, and they start to understand that there's more to it than what they were first told, they usually bring them into the barrister's room to get that bad news delivered. And then for the very first time, the small business client understands that it's not what they thought it was in the beginning. But now they're entrenched and they have to see it through. So the purpose of the Commercial Dispute Management Center was try to avoid that scenario by basically offering a very, very effective, what I call triage system, to properly strip down a dispute and understand it at the very inception and explain to the business owner about the other possibilities, the other alternatives that they could look at before they committed themselves to litigation.
Now, I have a sarcastic comment. Surely that would prevent solicitors from putting their children through private school? Because I have a theory on that. I wish I can back that up with some balance sheet stuff. And then, of course, I would like to ask you, in my view, do you think most of us as small business owners view the courts as a justice system? That's not right, I want to take them to court, as opposed to understanding that the dispute is going to end up being based on the letter of the law, which does not always reflect the pain of the applicant, and quite often the small business owner in a commercial situation, and that on top of the fact that if they're going to search for justice in the legal system, they're not going to get it, because the law is the law, and it will come down to how someone interprets it, which can be either your own barrister, the other side, or the judge.
Yeah.
Which we don't understand.
I can set out, it's a bit of a conundrum, and it's very important for business owners to understand this. When most people talk about the justice system and about the courts and tribunals, they're talking about legal rights. Now, everyone has legal rights, and everyone has a constitutional right to go to court if they want to. No one can take that away from you. The only thing that can take that away from you is making a contract with someone else that makes you go through other steps before you go to court. But the thing that's really left out in a lot of this discussions that a small business owner will get if they walk in the door of the average litigation lawyer is how to get the right balance between talking about their legal rights and about their commercial interests. And this is really what Commercial Disputes Management Center principally focuses on. There is a balance. And what's important is that that discussion be had at the very early stage so that the business owner's equipped to make a decision about when it is a right time to litigate. There are many, many things that can be done before that decision has to be made.
Yeah.
So can you sort of run us through that process? What steps do they take to avoid this litigation and just deal with it in a...
Absolutely.
Commercial way.
Look,
commercial reality of what it's going to end up costing you versus what you think you're going to get.
Absolutely.
Or you think you deserve.
A very big part of this is just human psychology. And again, we want to be very realistic here because sometimes litigation is necessary. But the typical scenario is this. Two people who fall in a dispute, they first of all lose it themselves because their communication breaks down. So that's always the first thing. It's that psychological aspect of not being able to manage the dispute themselves. If they then walk down to the local lawyer, the lawyer will tend to act in the way that litigation lawyers do, which tends to escalate a dispute, which is sending off a letter of demand and things like that. That polarizes people. So what we do as an alternative at Commercial Disputes Management Center is if we can capture, our mantra, if you like, is capture a dispute early, contain it, de-escalate it, then effectively manage it, and then move it along a platform towards early resolution. This is not the mantra of the typical litigation lawyer, I can tell you.
So are we talking more about mediation then than actually moving through, or we're not at that level of mediation?
Mediation is one tool in the tool bag. What we're talking about here is what's called alternative dispute resolution, assisted dispute resolution, alternative dispute resolution. There are many names. But the essential thing of it is that it meets what you might call best practice these days of looking at all